Hey everybody, welcome back to HNS Collectibles. This is Cody, and it's time for another poor review of a poor movie. So this week's movie is Killer Piñata, 2015 movie. I don't own a copy to show you the cover. I streamed it off Amazon Prime, and it's still there if you want to do the same. You can decide after hearing my review. But I'll just start off with a little info about it. It's from 2015. It was directed and written by Stephen Tremonto and stars Eliza Jane Morris and Bill Chengery, I think is how you say his name, but they play Lindsay and Scott, what I would call the two main characters. There's other characters in the show, but really not worth even mentioning, and we'll get to that. It was shot in 8 days in Chicago on a $3,000 budget, and I think the first joke that I made was if it had a $3,000 budget, I think there's somebody walking around with 29.50 in their pocket. Um, it was it was it's worth a watch. I'll go there. I'm trying to work on a rating system, and I think I will just rate this one as why not? I mean, if you got time to kill, watch it. It was fun. There was a couple sequences in particular that I did like, and I'm going to get into some spoilers now. I'll give you a basic plot outline, but then I'll warn you of spoilers beforehand. But trust me, there's nothing exciting or blow anything in this movie that's going to blow you away that I think I could spoil. But it starts off in a party supply store, like you would go to and buy a pinata. And there's a pinata in there. The place is run by a little Spanish woman with a purple hat, and she has a hook hand for some reason. And she constantly walks around with it like that. That's just her natural pose, is to have the hook up. Don't know why. I guess just to remind us that she has a hook hand. Um, but she somehow suddenly realizes that she has this possessed pinata. It's possessed by an evil Mexican spirit. And she leaves the store to go get the things that she needs to do an exorcism on this pinata. While she's gone, a flustered dad runs in. Doesn't know which pinata to buy for his kid's party, so he buys three or four of them. And the guy working just sells all of them to him, including the possessed killer pinata, and he takes it home to a birthday party. And the kids tear up two or three pinatas. I think two. I think he bought four altogether, if I remember right. They tear up two at the party. And this was probably one of my favorite segments of the movie, as the kids beat and destroyed the other two pinatas. Um, there was some fun zoom in work. There was some pan work. Changing of the eyes on the pinata as it watched its kind be destroyed at the hands of humans. And that's what sends it on this hell bent streak of revenge. So that's basically the plot outline. Now I'm going to get into details and spoilers. If you want to go watch it, watch it. Otherwise, just follow me along. Next up, the parents decide to leave for the weekend. They take the youngest kid with them. The oldest daughter's home from college. She doesn't want to go. So she stays home and has a friend over. And her friend wants to party right away. You follow that old formula. As soon as the parents leave, there's going to be a party. And I'm sure the people who are doing what they shouldn't are the ones that are going to get killed. So anyway, I think three friends come over, and they're pretty stock, typical kind of characters. There's a nerdy one, there's a jock one. Um, and I think it starts off with the first one that gets killed is the nerd. He gets strung up like a pinata out in the driveway. He gets tied up and hung by the pinata. And while all this is going on, a homeless guy ends up wandering into that scene. And this is the part where we find out that the pinata craps poison candy, because it craps some for the homeless guy. He eats it, he dies. Then we go back into the house. The jock and Lindsay's friend, so I should have said before, Lindsay was the daughter who stayed home. The jock and her friend are in the bedroom getting it on. The pinata busts in, deposits some candy in his mouth. I'll just say deposits, which kills him. He pukes all over the place. Some kind of. He must have ate about a gallon of cream corn before he puked all over the place. And she tries to get away, and then this movie just keeps ratcheting up the ridiculousness. The pinata climbs on his back and starts controlling his dead body as if it was a puppet. And it walks him out in the hallway, and he strangles her to death. So now, I mean, real quick, we're already down to the two, what I'd call main characters, Lindsay and Scott. And Scott is a friend of hers, wants to be more than a friend, but she has friend zoned him, and he's just getting nowhere with her. They start to fight the pinata, and here this come in another one of my favorite sequences in the movie, the weapon building sequence. So they went in the garage, and it was like a cross between Dead Rising and Evil Dead. They put basic weapons together and duct taped them together like you would in Dead Rising, like a broom and a plunger. And then we did a little Sam Raimi kind of zoom in, zoom out thing, like when Ash is building his weapons. And now they suddenly have a shotgun, a fully working shotgun. Another one duct tapes like a ball bat and something else together, and boom, now they got a bow and arrow. And I laughed at that scene. It was kind of tickled me. And then they go to fight the pinata. They don't do very well. Right as they're in the midst of the fight, I think, I don't remember if it was before or after. I watched it. It had been a few weeks since I watched it, and I gave it a quick go through before this. But the little Spanish lady has tracked them down. She's figured out from the receipt who bought it and where they live. So she shows up and explains that the pinata is possessed by the spirit of a man who worked in the pinata factory, was constantly teased by his friends, and then during a dumb prank they dropped him into the paper shredder, and his blood and his spirit and got into the pinata, and it's just hell-bent on this revenge, and she wants to do this exorcism. While she's talking to them, she gets stabbed through with a pinata bat. So now she's dead. She's out of the picture. Lindsay gets shot in the leg somehow with an arrow. I don't know if Scott did it or she did it, or maybe I think maybe the pinata did it. And while she's trying to recover from that, Scott ends up dying. And how do I describe the way that Scott died? So the pinata, let's just say, molested Scott. And he didn't mind. He got into it. He enjoyed it. It was pretty weird scene to just all of a sudden throw out at you. And then an appendage was tore off, and Scott bled to death, standing there screaming in the living room. And that just left Lindsay to fight the pinata. And she, long story short, she ends up in the basement with it, tearing it to pieces, fighting it. And during the fight, I thought it was funny. It seemed like cardboard suddenly appeared when she tore the thing apart, and there was the pinata's blood everywhere. It was all on cardboard. It took place in the basement, like I said. So I think they wanted to keep their basement floor clean while they were filming this. But yeah, she tears it to bits, fights it, gets down and dirty with it, tears it apart, rips its heart out, which is a big ball of chocolate, and she takes a bite. And that's the end of it. Well, not quite the end. The parents come home, gripe at her for having a party when they see all the mess. The mom tells the dad to get rid of all the bodies and hide it all. He's trying to decide how he's going to do that, and her little brother wanders off, finds some pinata candy in the hallway, and starts to eat it. And there's the credits. So yeah, goofy fun. I did get a kick out of it. I don't know that I would ever purchase it. Like I said, my rating for it is why not? Yeah, maybe if I found it used for $3 or $4, yeah, I'd throw it on the shelf just to say I have it. Which is interesting. Another thing that comes up, I did look up the Blu-ray of it, and they must have realized the same thing I thought. If anything, the main thing this movie suffered from was it was too long. Some scenes went on too long. This would have been much better as just a YouTube short, maybe, rather than a full movie. More like a half hour, 20, maybe 20, 30 minute student film project or some kind of a goofy anthology episode. But on the Blu-ray, there's an alternate version you can watch that has 20 minutes cut out of it, and it's paced up. And they just really go from action sequence to action sequence. So, yep, that's it. Like I said, I watch these things so you don't have to, or tell you something that you might want to go check out. So, check it out. It was fun. Get it while it's still streaming if you're so inclined. And like and subscribe if you haven't. And I will talk to you later. Thanks.